Well, good morning, everybody. It's a blustery morning here in southern Missouri, but the animals still want to eat and drink today, so we have our chores to do. Good morning, Hope.
Good morning, Hudson. Are you hungry this morning, Hope? Hey, Patches. You gotta wait right there. Watch out. Okay. Come on. Come on. Well, Hope's having her morning breakfast like normal, and Hudson, he's getting used to it a little bit too, having a bite here and there.
Well, this time of year we move all of our rabbits into cages in the barn. So they're out of the wind, out of the cold, out of the snow and sleet when we get it. And there's an added benefit of having them all inside, and that is that it gives us an opportunity to collect their manure for next year's garden. So we clean out underneath the cages, and you can see we have it here in these big Crystalix tubs, and that is drying out so we can use it in next year's garden. So it really works well. When they're in the tractors, because we're moving them every day, we don't really get to collect their manure. It fertilizes the lawn or wherever we have them, but we don't get to collect it for the garden. So this is a good way to harvest the manure over the winter so we have it for next year's garden. Rabbits are a little more work in the winter, but not too bad. This time of year we use rubber bowls instead of the water bottles so that their water doesn't freeze every day. So everybody gets a fresh bowl of water every morning. So we top off their feed. We'll go down the line and get everybody done. That's it for the rabbits.
Morning, chickens.
These hoop coops are sure working out well over the winter, keeping everybody nice and dry and out of the wind. We're really impressed with the way they're holding up. Well, I wanted to give you guys an update on how Hope is doing. For those of you who have been watching for a while, you know that Hope did have 2 calves. She had a calf that she gave birth to last fall, and then this calf here, his name is Hudson. This is a calf we actually brought from a dairy so that Hope could raise 2 calves. Well, the calf that Hope gave birth to, his name was Henry. Henry got really sick. We tried for close to a month, over 3 weeks, to get him better. We had multiple vets take a look at him. We tried everything we could, but ultimately Henry had to be put down. That was a couple weeks ago. And so we just wanted to give you guys an update as to how Hope is getting along now with just the 1 calf and kind of fill you in on what happened since that last video.
The day that Henry was put down, it didn't happen in front of Hope. We wanted to make sure that she was away, didn't see anything that was happening. His body was taken away before she could see anything of what was going on.
Right. That afternoon, she was calling for him. She was looking for him a little bit. That part was a little heartbreaking for us. That went on for probably a day or so, that she was really looking for Henry and trying to see where he went. But eventually, I think she kind of came to terms with the fact that, he wasn't going to come back.
Now, you wouldn't even know that there was a second calf here. Hope and Hudson are doing really great.
They're inseparable.
They are. Hudson actually misses his playmate. We actually saw him missing that even when Henry was still here, but was so sick. He really wants someone to play with.
He tries to play with Patches, our barn cat, but Patches doesn't want any part of it.
No, he chases her around and she runs away, but it's kind of cute. He's definitely getting into calf mischief. He actually is right now.
Yeah, he's about to hit the camera, which is why I'm running up here.
He's getting into mischief, but he's such a cute calf to watch. All signs point to Hudson being very healthy.
Right.
He's eating, he's drinking from mom, he's nibbling on some hay, and really, really growing fast. He's a real sweet boy, and so we're really glad to have him. And it really is a blessing that since Henry didn't make it, that Hope does have...
Here he comes again.
That Hope does have a calf that she can be a mother to in the interim.
So that's the update on Hope and Hudson. We're just glad that they're both doing well. We still have 2 happy, healthy cows over here. And speaking of cows, we're actually going to take a walk down, check on our other cows. We need to see how much hay they have, make sure everybody's there. We try to count them every day just to make sure everybody's still here and to see how they're doing with their hay and everything else. So let's take a walk down. And then after that, we need to get back up here and clean out Hope's barn. Another source of manure for the homestead, another source of fertilizer for next year's garden. It is this time of year, that's what it's all about, collecting as much manure and fertilizer as we can for next spring's garden. We're getting excited. Yesterday was a cold, rainy day. Sarah spent the entire day garden planning. So It looks like it's going to be an awesome garden coming up in 2021.
Well, 5 out of the 10 cows are up here at the moment, just down that hill, down right there. That's where they go to drink. So half of them must be thirsty and drinking down there.
It's amazing to me what good hill climbers cows are. Our property is pretty hilly, and most of the time when they need to go get a drink, it's down a hill somewhere. But they're like goats almost climbing up and down the hills. It's always amazing to me to watch these huge animals be able to climb these hills.
I think they do it better than I do.
They are doing so well over this winter. Right now we're feeding a round bale of hay about every 4 days for our 10 cows. Now that we're really into kind of the middle of winter, this January is always our coldest month here in southern Missouri. They might end up being like every 3 days, but we'll see. So far it's been every 4 days, but I'm guessing that that's going to increase just a little bit.
We're really excited about how well they're doing, and they're looking still really well nourished and well fed. Just last weekend, we had some friends of ours, Ben and Andrea from VW Family Farm. They came up for a visit just on Sunday to see the farm and to see our cows. And we're happy to say that they also thought that these cows are looking in great condition. It's always great to hear someone else's opinion who actually knows what they're talking about. We don't feel like we do yet. So it was nice to visit with them, and it was also nice to get some feedback from them about how well our cows are looking.
Now, the previous owner of these cows had a bull in with the herd all the time, year round. So all of these cows, or at least most of these cows, will hopefully be bred right now. After talking to the other owner, he actually had 1 or 2 calves born last January, so we could be having some calves here any time. My preference would be that they're not born in the middle of winter, but we'll see. We may have some calves born here. There are 1 or 2 of the cows. He showed me which ones had calves last winter, and at least one of them is looking pretty big, like she may be having a calf sometime soon. So we're checking every day to make sure things are going okay. We spend a lot of time around the cows. They're actually getting quite tame, which is a good thing as well. We're happy that they're taming up and they're letting us really be able to get near them and pet them, and just, so when we need to do things or when they have a calf, we know that we can get close to it to make sure everything is okay.
And so one of these days soon, there might be a calf video coming up when we come out here to check on the cows, and there's a brand new calf. I can't wait. They're so cute. They're red. They're just beautiful. I can't wait. So now that we've checked on the cows and they're looking great, let's head back over to Hope's area. We would like to clean out that barn section that she and Hudson are able to get into.
Collect the manure.
And then we have some plans that we want to share with you all. We've been thinking, this is the time of year where we do a ton of planning. And we've got something pretty exciting that we want to share with you. Well, that's all better for them. They can come lay down and be nice and clean. Now, Kevin and I are big planners. We're always thinking about what's next, and we really think about projects and think them through before we actually get started on them. There is one project that we're just about to start. We're excited to share that with you, but there's also something that we haven't figured out yet, and we really need your help. Let's go take a look.
About 8 months ago, we bought additional land for our homestead. Part of that additional land is here behind us. We haven't made any really big decisions on this piece of land yet because we really wanted to get a feel for it before we made any, big kind of lifetime type decisions.
You can see behind us one of the things that we did when we first got this part of our property. That's to put in a big well. And that was very much necessary. The other well that's on the property is very shallow and it runs out of water if you're just doing laundry and shower on the same day. But because we're going to have a lot more water needs here, we just need more water. We have animals that need water. We actually need more water in the house for Kevin's parents, and eventually we're going to be growing things here that will need water for gardening and orchards and things like that. So that was a necessity, and we've already taken care of that.
So the big decision that we've made this week is what part of this land we want to set aside for things like gardens, an orchard, berries and grapes. We've really thought long and hard about what we want to do, where we want to situate things. And so this week we really, I think, narrowed it down, and we've got some things we want to show you today. The piece of land here behind me, let's take a walk and we'll show you that piece of land and how we're hoping to kind of divide it up. We're on the other side of the fence now. You can see the well house here behind me. We're kind of on the back side of the well house now. You can see this row of T-posts here. This row of T-posts I actually put in after we put up the new well this last summer. At that time we didn't have this plan yet, so I am going to have to undo a little bit of my work. But you can see this row of T-posts here. This row is about 120 feet long. That is how wide this area is going to be that we've designated for the orchard, the gardens, the grapes, the berries, and other things that we want to do in this area. So this area is going to be about 120 feet deep, and then it's going to run this way about 350 feet. So this area is about 42,000 square feet in size, which is just about an acre of land. So this is going to be a really nice area for the things that we want to do. Now currently this piece of land is part of our hayfield. We have about a 25-acre hayfield here on the homestead. So we are going to be losing about an acre of our hayfield, which will decrease us by, maybe a few bales a year. But the value that we're going to get back out of that acre of land is going to far surpass the little bit of hay that we're going to lose by being able to have our own orchard, raise our own grapes and berries, and have some gardens in this area. All of that's going to add up to way more value for us, for our needs here on the farm and homestead, than a few more bales of hay. So it's really a good trade, we believe. So let's take a walk down here a little ways. We want to show you part of the plan, show you what part of land we have set aside specifically for our orchard. Well, now we're down at the opposite end of that acre of land. You can see the pond here behind me. And originally, when we first purchased this piece of land, and actually we did a video about it this last summer, showing you guys the pond, and then our plan was going to be to put an orchard kind of next to the pond over here. There's a fence here. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to see the posts here. There's a fence, and we were going to put the orchard on the other side of the fence where the pond is. We've changed our minds about that, and we really think it's for the best.
We realized that we actually need that space back there still for our beef cattle. That is an area that they graze all summer long. There's grass there, so it's one of the paddocks that they need to graze. So I think we have decided that the orchard will be in the middle of this area that we're designated for growing. Kevin's mom's gardens will be closest to the house. Then the garden areas that we're going to be exploring for us, orchard in the middle, and then the remainder area for berries. We don't really know what kind of berries, we don't know what order they'll be in, and I think we'll have some grapes in there. So the orchard will be in the middle area here. We've been doing a lot of thinking about this orchard, what types of trees we want in here, how many trees, varieties. There are just so many things that go into planting an orchard, and a lot of it is specific to the area where you live. Some trees do really well in the north, some of them only do well in the south. Another thing that I was considering is when these trees come to harvest when they're old enough. Am I going to be right in the middle of lots of things with the garden, like harvesting and canning tomatoes? So there's so many things to consider when planning an orchard. We've decided for this orchard project to work with a company called Stark Brothers. It has been around for a long time. It's based out of Missouri, and they have fantastic trees and fantastic information on their website. We actually used Stark Brothers when we planted our orchard up by our house. All of the trees have survived, and we've just really loved them. They're actually flourishing. We're going to be planting a nice variety of fruit trees. Actually, 16 total trees will be going into our orchard. We're going to be planting 3 apple trees, 2 peach trees, 2 pear trees, 2 plum, 2 apricot, 2 sweet cherries and 2 sour cherries, and a crabapple tree. That should give us quite a bit of fruit, and we're so excited. Now, one thing I want to tell you when you're looking for fruit trees to plant is to really investigate your area about what diseases are common in your area, so that you can research the varieties that are going to do well and grow through that or in spite of that. Here in southern Missouri, we have what's called cedar apple rust, and that's really hard on apple trees. The varieties that we've chosen to grow here are resistant to that cedar apple rust, and that's something that you'll want to look into also. Is there something that could devastate your orchard in your area? And look for plants that can really thrive and survive that.
So now on to the part of the project that we're hoping to learn from your experience. We're hoping that you guys can share with us some of the successes that you've had, and that is about fencing for this area. Like I said, this area is part of our hayfield currently, and there is a large deer population in this area. In fact, a couple days ago, when we came out to do chores, right here in this area behind us, there were 12 deer standing here eating. So we need fencing that is going to help us with the deer.
One thing I'm concerned about, not just the deer, is also the raccoons and the other critters that are going to come in and eat the fruit off of our trees. We're also going to have berries. We're going to have gardens in here. We need to protect our valuable produce.
Now, I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube, people with some kind of crazy ways to keep deer out of things. So I've already watched all the videos. What I'm hoping from you guys is that some of you may have already had this experience and actually done this and had some successes. Those are the things I want to hear from you guys. What have you actually done yourself that has proven to work to help keep deer out?
Make sure you put those suggestions in the comment section below.
Now keep in mind that this area is going to need about 1,000 feet of fence. So I don't want to have to do this more than once. I want something that I know is going to work right away, because that's a big job to put up that much fence.
That's expensive. We need a one-time expense.
Right. So let us know, what have you done, what has worked, and what do you suggest that we do for this area?
You guys, we just want to thank you so much for spending some time with us today while we work with some of the animals, while you hear about Hope and clean up her area, and while we share this pretty big news of this project coming up this spring. We really appreciate it. If you're enjoying our videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below so that you're notified of when we put out new videos. And the best way that you can help us here on the homestead is actually just to share our videos on all your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.